This is a super short and simple video. It's going to talk about how to install auxiliary and USB port into an older model Toyota. This particular vehicle is a Toyota Highlander 2003. I'm not going to get into how to take apart the console here. There are lots of videos on YouTube that cover that. What I will cover is this device. It's the Crux CBEELINE, and it's pretty cool because the thing that's different about this is this. So this is a 12-port plug that if your radio, it has this plug, which most of them do, but is not using the disc changer, or maybe you don't want to use it anymore, then you can just plug this directly into that port and it will give you line in and Bluetooth capability from this little device.
So here's the pinout for that port, and as you can see, it's got all your ins and outs here and power. But here's the interesting part about this and why you need this separate device is it actually uses a communication to tell the head unit to start listening to this audio source. So you can't just plug directly into these audio inputs. You actually have to also send the signal so the head unit knows to start listening to that source. So that's why this box is $70 or whatever it is because somebody came up with a nice simple way of doing it, so it's a plug and play. Now you could do this on your own, and someone did a while back. What they ended up doing was they attached something to listen to the signals over those lines, and they were able to record them into a computer. I think they used an Arduino because of this, and so they actually mimicked what the head unit was getting with something pumped out from the Arduino. So I guess in theory you could make your own one of these with an Arduino, and you just have the Arduino mimic this signal that the head unit's going to be listening for, and then they'll switch to the CD. But I have time for all that, so I just went ahead and bought the device that plugs in.
Also, while I'm in there, I got this hideaway antenna. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in, see how that does. This is just off of Amazon. You get a few options where you can put this thing, but I think I'm gonna do, because I really don't know where I want it to go yet, there's a pass-through in the glove compartment. So you can actually let that live in here and just run this cable down that hole and then plug it in. So that way you can, if you're just doing Bluetooth, maybe you don't need to worry about it. It can just stay down in your glove compartment. Or you could probably mount it to the side or something. Or you could probably leave it up in there and run extension cables down to these. So this vehicle isn't using these two little spots here. So theoretically I could run an extension cable from these ports and have them come out right here. So at the moment I'm just gonna do the glove compartment because it's hidden away and simple. But yeah, you have a lot of options on where you put this thing, which I like. Once you get the dash apart, you remove your bolts. Those are 10 millimeters, there's 6 of them. And this just pulls out. It kind of rides on these little points here. You don't actually have to disconnect anything. You just lift it up out of here. You can set it right on top of that if you're careful. You don't have to move this when you're working on it, but it does make it easier. So if you want to put it in neutral or all the way down in low and then shut the car off, it does make it easier to get this unit out. But if you're careful, you can actually just lift it out a little bit and then slowly up, and it does come out of here without having to move that. You want to make sure these bolts here, that when you're taking them out, you got a good grip on them, because if they fall down inside of here, it's kind of a pain to go fetch them. So I learned the hard way. And you're gonna plug it in right there. Right there. Just like that. Couldn't be much simpler. This is the brand I went with for the antenna, and it doesn't give any instructions on a proper way to mount this thing, so it's kind of whatever you want. So that's what I'm doing. This hideaway antenna does have some double stick tape on it, but I'm actually just gonna jam it up in here See how it does. If I find the reception's poor, maybe I'll run it up the post. There's enough line here that I could probably reach it all the way up and run it up into here. But I live in a pretty suburban area where reception isn't really a big issue. The antenna is also really simple. It just pulls right out. And then you take the new one, plug it right back in. There you go. So it did work, the antenna. All the radio stations that I could get before are still working.
Your dog. Oh, you're rocking the hits on the radio.
So I think that works good. So once you get your radio back together and you turn it on, you'll notice this isn't doing anything, which that's the way it's supposed to be. You actually just come over here to the CD button, you click the CD button, and there it comes on the light. It's real simple to connect the Bluetooth. You just, after you powered it on, you see that LED light's on. Search your new Bluetooth devices to pair to, and you'll see the Crux BT audio. You click on it to pair, you give it the permissions, depending on your phone, and you'll hear a voice come over your radio saying BTE connection, and that's how you know it's working. Of course, then you can play something. Got it working, very simple, sounds really good. Audio quality is fantastic. So far, so good. One more thing. Probably gonna want to plug the hole from the antenna. It's kind of the same bolt as a GoPro pin, maybe a little shorter. It's 1032 thread, and you're gonna want probably like a 3/4 inch screw. And that fits right there, nice and looks decent. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful. I might do a follow-up a little bit later on how I like it. Take it easy.